Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson, and we did have a little bit of a dip today. So, markets gapping up huge on Monday, running basically sideways most of the week. A little bit of a move up on Wednesday, a little bit of a move down on Thursday, and some follow through today. So, for those of you that were listening yesterday, below 10,700 was the entry to go short. Could have made some profits there. Where did we get overall for the week, though? Well, here was the big gap up. We still ended up finishing basically down for the week. Well, okay. So this is where we closed last Friday, correct? We had the big gap here, but that's it. That's as far as we got. We did finish down by the time the week was over with. We finished down where we started the week. So the Bulls had a great opportunity here to make some headway with the whole Greece is getting bailed out again by someone else. And once again, as I've said before, I just don't think anybody's going to step in and do it. I don't think investors are completely convinced yet that that's what's going to happen. Now, next week we come into options expiration week, and we'll see if we get some sort of consolidation sideways. We've got a lot of room here to chop sideways if we wanted to for a while. The big major level is really 10,400, back down below kind of this area here, and maybe a retest of the 200. Boy, that would be major for the Bears to put in this same type of a 1, 2, 3, 4, then a 5 to the downside. Give that same type of look we had before. Of course, it went up like this the last time we saw that. But, give that same type of appearance before for all the eliticians out there that might be following along. But anyway, gap up. By the end of the week, we're down where we started the week. The Bulls didn't necessarily want to see that. We certainly didn't lose everything. But to be, down kind of from the beginning of the week it must be a little bit frustrating for the Bulls to not be able to get it back up to this 11,000 area. These upper levels holding beautifully this week on the daily, especially on the SPX. That really held nicely, made for a nice trade. Today, below 10,700 was your entry to the short side, though you can see you could have made a little bit of profit off of that. NASDAQ on a 60-minute did the same thing with a gap down here, rolling over at the end to kind of give things a quasi-bullish look coming into the weekend. I'm not convinced it's going either way. However, we do have to keep in mind Mondays have been good to the markets lately. Here's the big gap up that we saw on Monday. Here's where we ultimately finished. So holding this 1900 area here quite well. Still got a little work to do for the Bears to the downside to get back and below this area here and kind of complete this little Elliott wave formation we have working. Otherwise, it's still above 2,000. Really, the NASDAQ in kind of an in-between mode, as are the other indices. The week as a whole, though, interesting. Finished below this channel line again. So we'll be watching this very closely over the next week or so. Now, we did the one bright spot, if you will, for the NASDAQ was that while it closed below the 20-week moving average last week, this week it closed above it. So typically when a major level's broken, I like to give the Bulls at least a shot at trying to protect that area. Same way with the Bears. Once a major overhead area has been broken, I like to give the Bears a shot at regaining that. The Bulls were able to do it this week. However, we are still below this overhead 1970-ish area and this blue channel line. So we do have a lot of work to do from a bull standpoint. However, one step, and one big step, was being able to close back above the 20-week moving average. SPX on a 60-minute, you can see it here moving up, pulling back, kind of right towards the end of the day. My go short level was below 1150, made for a very, very nice trade today. Could have pulled almost 20 points out of that today. Probably 20 points out of that. Very nice move in the markets, giving us something to at least trade today. Congratulations to you that have been watching. Took that short entry. Beautiful entry on multiple different levels. You can see here how nicely that 50-day moving average held. Kind of a retest here on the wick of the doji. A touch here on the white candle. Touch here on the following red candle yesterday. And now follow through today by the Bears. On a weekly standpoint, not really able to get up and over the 20-week moving average. Look at the big kind of inverted hammer candle we have in here. And you can see that it is 1137.37 for the 20-week moving average. 1135 is where we closed. So we did not make it back above that 20-week moving average, contrary to what the NASDAQ was able to do. However, NASDAQ's always, in most cases, typically stronger than the other indices, so not a big surprise. And we did get a jump today in the VIX. By the time the week was over, where did we get? Right back above the 30 level. So we're back into the red zone here for fear in the markets. Interesting to see such a giant move up in the VIX today. And you can see fear's coming back in. Will it hold into next week? We'll see. Options expiration. Boy, this could be the time. We've seen lots of options expiration weeks end up bullish. Maybe there's a tone. Maybe there's a change in the tone this next week. Apple on a 60-minute was down $4.50 today, getting back below this level here and ultimately back below 257.50 was my go short level. Would have made for a very nice $4 trade in Apple today. From a daily standpoint, it's still kind of choppy. So your intraday is kind of the best way to be playing Apple for the time being as it dances around the 20-day moving average. From a weekly standpoint, though, still nothing really broke. Still holding this blue line. Not the most powerful of candles here on a weekly, but I'm not, I can make that into a bullish harami. I can make that into an inverted hammer. It doesn't really matter at this point, really. It's just kind of sideways chop action. Watch that blue line as we proceed into next week's trading. FAS on a 60-minute. This did have a bigger move today, down about $2.50, which makes for about a 9% move on FAS. Dropping back below this line, giving us something to do here once we broke 30. But that was ultimately my go short line there. We saw a gap down below it today, but even below 29 was a great place to get short. Would have gave you a buck in there. And a logical place to bounce where the 200-day moving average. Almost to the penny. Low was 27.13, 27.07 on the 200, so missed by about 5 cents. Just a beautiful line of support for the FAS. FAZ means it was up a bit today, and you can see it getting back up and above these levels. Something to at least intraday trade for the time being. I said up over $13 was your entry to the long side. It worked out beautifully today. You guys should have made some money on it. If you've got these lines drawn in your charts, you could have seen where a perfect place to take profits were, and that was this overhead channel line that we've been watching for a while. Still in tweener mode. Not much you can do from a buy and hold standpoint for either FAS or FAZ, but making for some pretty decent day trading today if you wanted to get in and play it around for a while as the day progressed. Not a bad day to do it. All right, that takes us back to the beginning. So what did we see? Basically nowhere. We did see us close lower based on where we gapped up to Monday. Bigger picture is it's just another move up, another pullback. Now what happens? Do we roll over and end up in some sort of a symmetrical triangle? Do we break to new lows? Do we roll over, break to new highs? Do the bulls pull it off again with one of these big major 1-2 huge moves down for a 3, which make it look in an Elliott wave standpoint as a wave 3 down? And this could look like a 4 followed by a 5, or do they roll it over and just push it right back up again like they've been doing over and over and over again? The answer is I don't know. I'm going to take a look at it this weekend, though. See if I can give you guys a much better idea of what we're looking at coming into options expiration week. But until then, we only had, we had a couple of days of decent trading. Today was your best opportunity to trade the indices and had some good opportunities on some stocks. But we won't know more until I get a chance to really look at things this weekend. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Sunday.